Great. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here on your lunch hour for this very important meeting. With that, I call to order the special session of the Hillsboro School District Board of Directors at 12:04 p.m. And I'm going to snap as my gavel today. During our first item of business is to ratify the agreement with the Hillsboro Education Association. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off with Travis.
Thank you, Director Pantoja. I just wanted to start by thanking everybody who's been a part of this process. 20 bargaining sessions. Mark Watson, thank you for representing the school board that whole time. Thanks to the other members of the team for your leadership in it's been a really collaborative process and a big celebration for us. So just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you. I will pass to Michelle Morrison to start telling the story.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I feel like as a bargaining team, we've kept you up to speed as we move through the bargain during executive session. Really want to express, again, gratitude to Mark Watson for all of that extra time. Brian Hungerford, who has treated each of our bargains as his full focus all day long for many, many days. And I know that you just have so many other things you're trying to balance as well. So thank you for supporting our process. As we came into the last session, it was just clicking right along. I think that there was great dialogue. The vibe in the room was really positive, even as it began to fill up with HEA members. They've had a really decent viewership on their live streaming and then also recorded later. So I feel like our work did really kind of penetrate the membership, and they heard all of their concerns brought forward. They heard the district really, really work on language to what was applicable and where we could move. We absolutely did. So super proud of all of that work, and really just genuine discomfort that I think we all had to move through as we're healing from the pandemic still and really trying to get a great 3-year agreement in place. Financially, we had a proposal out there prior to summer break. We came back to some disappointing budget news, and really thankful that our union partners came along with us and on that journey as we targeted some strategic reductions to reduce our budget gap without impacting schools. And they really had to feel comfortable with that message so that they can communicate that with their membership. Because of course, in some other districts around us, that the year general salary increase for 24-25 was higher than what we could offer. So at the end, I know you guys have seen the details of the agreement in your situation page. We brought with you some comparisons so that there's a sense of where we are in terms of recruitment and retention. And we're solid in year 1 of the agreement. We were very transparent with you all and with the membership at the table that the very likely going to need some reductions at those levels of general salary increase that we offer. They're higher than we've offered in the past. And even at the governor's recommended budget of 11.36, that's not going to be enough to cover all of the costs for our current service level. So just going with that, eyes wide open, encouraging their partnership and advocacy is going to be critical. Travis has done a great job with both leadership groups, trying to get that framework in place so that when it's time to do it, we can do it together instead of working against each other. So that's super exciting. I can share that our early projections show that our current service level requirement would be about $11.8 billion for K-12 in the state school fund. Where there are other districts in very similar position to us. So just as we're looking forward, that's what we came to in terms of an agreement where our teachers feel clearly with ratification, they feel valued and they feel transparency and connection with the district. So I'm super proud of the work we brought, and I'd like to probably either send it back to Travis or Brian, or answer any questions you have.
It's going to go next with some like high-level overview of the contract.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. I'm just going to talk about a few highlights for the contract, and I would be more than pleased to have any of the bargaining team members jump in. So Michelle and Mark and Brian and Audria, they were all part of this journey together. So what we landed on for the general salary increase, or GSI, is 3.5% for this current year, 24-25, and that's retroactively applied back to the start of the year, to July 1. And moving forward to next year, it's 4.75% GSI, and the 26-27 year it'll be 4.25%. That's those same amounts of GSI are applied to all the extra duty stipends and all the hourly rates, such as extended contract. They all get that exact same GSI. In addition, we adjusted some of our stipend amounts, including increasing the district nurse stipend up to a higher level of $4,279 a year looking into next year, or this current year. And then we also added a new elementary after-school lead, and that's a stipend of $1,800, a little bit over $1,800. Insurance will remain the same for this year. That's $1,370, the contribution that the district gives, the maximum district contribution, and that bumps up a little bit next year to $1,420, and then the following year to $1,470. We spent a lot of time talking about leaves. That was a big article that took us a long time to get through. A few things just to note: there had been a sabbatical leave in our contract for many, many, many years, and we have not been improving those leaves for quite some time. And HEA agreed to remove that from the contract. Also, unit members now will get 3 days of personal leave every year. It had been 1 a year, and they could accrue through the years up to 3. And in the past, they could also use 2 days of sick leave for personal reasons. So we eliminated all that other language, and it's just strictly 3 personal days per year. They cannot be rolled. But that is a benefit overall to the HEA members. We also added a leave resulting from physical attack, and this leave is if a staff member is injured by a student and gets an accepted workers' comp claim. Typically, what would happen in the past, workers' comp won't kick in for at least 3 days, so they would have had to use their sick leave for those 3 days first. So the district will be covering that time and allowing paid leave for 3 days prior to their workers' comp kicking in, I should say. We also added a $700,000 class size caseload relief fund that will begin next year and the following year. And the point of that is to really look at class sizes, caseloads throughout the district, and if there's hot spots, using that fund to alleviate that in some manner, either with additional licensed staff, additional classified staff, any other kind of supports that we can offer using that fund. And then something else new is unit members will be eligible to receive up to 6 quarter hours per year of quarter hours credit per year until funds have been exhausted. So the funds set for this year are $600,000, and then it goes up $10,000 each year after that. That's new. It had been for their first 6 years, they'd get 6 quarter hour credits. And then after 6 years of service in HSD, that would drop to 3 quarter hour credits. So now we've taken away that 3, everyone gets 6, but only up until a certain point when those funds will be exhausted, if that happens during the school year. I know behavior is always a big topic. In the past, we had spent a lot of time on prior bargainings talking about safety and student discipline Article 7, and we didn't spend as much time on that this year, only because we've done a lot of revamping in the past, but there was time spent on it. One thing to note is that the title was changed to Safety, Student Supports, and Discipline. The title of that article was changed. And then we made changes around kind of the procedures. If a student was had been physically aggressive towards another student or a teacher, and or had been threatening. we put in procedures about how that student would be placed back into a classroom and how the communication would go out to the school community about those incidents. I feel like that was good work and a good compromise on everyone's part. I open it up to anyone else on our bargaining team who'd like to add anything that I might have missed or questions that you have.
Brian, I'd just like to add that the insurance cap, there's no increase to the district contribution in the first year, but that's anchored back to work that we've done collaboratively with the union in our insurance committee. And we've kind of designed an insurance pool that is alleviating the need to have those increases, and that pool is performing really well right now. So that's the reason why they were open to using what would have been an increase in insurance back towards salary in the first year.
Excuse me, I'm at a school. There's a little noise outside the door, but if there aren't questions, I did want to, oh, go ahead, Monique.
Okay, just real quick on this safety and student, who is responsible for notifying parents of these incidents? Is that on the district side? Do the teachers do that? Who handles that when these issues come up?
I can take that one. Depending on the situation, sometimes it's the teacher, but most likely it's the administrator reaching out, depending on the situation that occurred. It's usually the building principal. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was reading, as I read through the contract, and I may have missed it, but I was reading through it and I didn't see that specifically. So I was curious.
Again, I think we didn't probably have language specific to that because again, sometimes teachers handle situations in their classroom and communicate with the parents, and other times it warrants the level in which a building administrator steps in and communicates. So.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And for what it's worth, I think Brian Hungerford, I'm pointing down there because you're down there on my screen. I think Brian Hungerford does a good job of helping us remember what should be in contract language and what should not. Like the discussions of different groups of people, like for example, collaboration time between education assistants and teachers. We shouldn't be putting requirements for other unions, parents into the teacher's contract. So I think some of what you're asking is like, it's good question, exactly right, but like it's just not a thing that would show up in a contract with teachers specifically. Because it'd be like making contractual language about somebody that's not covered under the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from my fellow board members or comments?
If nobody else has a question, I would I continue the series of comments of gratitude. I'm thankful to my board colleagues for allowing me to serve on the committee. Thanks for that. I'm super grateful that HEA and our district administrative team were able to work to come together on the agreement. Every district is unique. I learned that Brian Hungerford is the bargaining lead on more districts than anybody else in the state of Oregon. So he's seen many others, and we like to say that things are different in Hillsboro, and I think it proved out. We worked together with a sense of collaboration. We're a public entity. Our budget's a public document. We can't raise prices for our product, but we all know that our teachers, all of our employees, are feeling the burden of raised prices on everything in their daily lives. So I'm glad we're able to come to agreement. I'm glad it doesn't look like we will have dramatic work reductions. Our class sizes are not where they should be even now. But they're historically pretty low compared to what we've had at other times. So if they have to tick up a tiny bit for all of our teachers to do a little bit better, I think that's a worthwhile trade-off. And I guess again, just I think all of our employees deserve better, and current service level, just doing the bare minimum should not be our target. especially in a growing economy. So, just mostly gratitude. Just, I'm glad that the spirit of collaboration between our union partners and the HSD team bubbled to the forefront again, as it always seems to. This is my third bargaining session as a member of the board, and each time it's great to see people understanding that we need to find the way to come together to have as good an impact on classrooms as we can. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mark. Winnie, did you have a question?
No, just actually some comments. I appreciate Michelle and Brian and Audria for getting back to me about the questions that I raised with the contract. I still have some more questions, but nothing that's going to hinder my vote. So I will follow up with you afterwards, just for some further clarification. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? Comments or questions?
I'd like to give just a quick shout out to Connolly Williams, who kicked off this process and gave it her very, very best all and created a really positive connection with our partners. And I just wanted to know that. Woo!
Yeah, thanks, Michelle.
Right.
I put my hand up for that reason. She's not here, but just wanted to really recognize Kana. I think we can't undersell the work that she and HOTS do. And Marta's here. So Marta, on the classified side of things, they cultivate a relationship with your labor organizations that it's not conciliatory. They don't give in on topics, but it's respectful and professional, and it makes our bargain possible. So HOTS does that. Marta, and then Kana, like number one. I worked with Kana for a long time now. She's awesome. And she did so much to get our bargain to where it was. And then Audria graciously stepped in. Audria knows I advocate for her to be on the bargaining team every time, and she sends me hate mail as a result. But she's so great on the bargaining team. So I think those are the factors that got us across the finish line, is your local people who are so skilled. That's why we get a deal that is good for the district, but also satisfactory to the union. Your contract is superior from a management side to what we would see around the metro area. And we're able to keep that while still having a collaborative relationship. So that is a total credit to your local folks on district side. So thank you for that.
I hope she's not watching. I hope she's spending her time in better ways than that. But yes, I think much of the fruit we harvest today come from seeds planted by Kana and her great work. So thank you for that.
Okay, well, anybody else? I don't want to interrupt.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to, many of my thoughts have already been expressed, but I wanted to talk just for a second about how much of a win this is in terms of us valuing and respecting the incredible work that our teachers and other licensed staff do. This is a great moment, and it also keeps us competitive. We got a commitment to being a destination district, and this keeps Hillsboro competitive among school districts in Oregon in terms of compensation. And so that's a big win for everybody. I also want to share that the cost of running schools is going up across Oregon. And this is our opportunity and our obligation right now to join forces with other school boards, other unions, and really advocate for accurate and adequate funding for public education. So I look forward to those next steps after today. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to the team for all the information and discussion and all the work that was put into, getting us here today. And if there's any other questions or any comments before we move forward? No? Okay. Vice Chair Watson, since you represented our board on the bargaining team, would you do the honors of making the motion today?
I gotta find it. Yes, I would love to actually, though. Yes, give me a second. It's probably in the packet, I would guess. Didn't think
Yeah.
about that.
Yes, it's on the packet and the agenda.
Okay. I move that the board of directors approve the 2024-27 individual contracts with the no, that's non-union. What? No, is that the wrong one? First one. Oh, are we doing two today?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I move that the Board of Directors of Hillsboro approve the 3-year collective bargaining agreement with the Hillsboro Education Association effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, as tentatively agreed to by the district bargaining team.
I second. This is Nancy Thomas.
Thank you. It has been moved by Director Watson and seconded by Director Thomas to approve the 3-year collective bargaining agreement with Hillsboro Education Association effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, as tentatively agreed by the district bargaining team. Is there any discussion? No. Rose, can we get a roll call, please?
Sure. Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Aye.
Mark Watson,
Aye.
Yvette Pantoja.
Aye. Motion carries. Our next item of business is to approve the memorandum of agreement for non-union employees. Brian, would you like to give us any additional information here?
This one will be very short. So this is for our administrators and our super tech staff, and the compensation for these employee groups mirrors that was just settled on for the licensed staff. So it's the same percentage, 3.5, 4.75, 4.25, and it also matches the insurance contributions from the district. Nothing else in those MOAs will change.
I move that the Board of Directors approve the 2024-27 individual contracts with non-union employees, including the recommended MOA revisions and GSI and health benefit contributions in alignment with the license bargaining agreement.
This is Nancy Thomas. Second.
It has been moved by Director Watson and seconded by Director Thomas that the Board of Directors approve the 2024-27 individual contracts with non-union employees, including the recommended MOA revisions, the GSI and health benefit contributions in alignment with the license bargaining agreement. Is there any further discussion? No? Thank you. Rose, could we get a roll call, please?
Sure. Sheehan Kim,
Aye.
Nancy Thomas,
Aye.
Monique Ward,
Aye.
Mark Watson,
Aye.
Yvette Pantoja.
Aye. And motion carries. And with that, we want to thank everyone for being here, engaged in this work, and for the time and effort put into settling this contract. And is there any other comments? Nothing? Okay, good. And with that, this meeting is adjourned at 12:27 p.m.